Hello everyone, welcome back to Woo Can Cook. My name is Wesley, and this is a show where we are slowly cooking our way through all of the food from my childhood. Today we're diving a bit further into some of the foods from the local Bay Area restaurant scene here in Oakland, and taking a look at a Thai noodle dish that I've been eating since my days at UC Berkeley, which is Pad See Ew. For those not familiar, Pad See Ew I think is maybe the second most popular Thai noodle dish here in the States, probably second to Pad Thai, which we did a few months back as well. Pad See Ew is mainly characterized by its wide and thin rice noodles called chow fun, plus the use of dark soy sauce, which gives the dish its signature dark brown color. More specifically, the version that we're loosely mimicking today is a Pad See Ew from my restaurant here in Oakland called Neecha Thai. I used to live across the street from the place, so ordering takeout from Neecha was a pretty regular thing for me for a few years. Now, Neecha's Pad See Ew is a little bit more Americanized than some of the more traditional recipes, which we'll get into in a moment, but I think the big takeaway for me is their use of broccoli in lieu of the more traditional gailan, or Chinese broccoli. I grew up eating gailan a lot and have a very deep, profound hatred for this stuff, probably because I used to choke it down at the end of every meal. So I love that Neecha's version leaves gailan out, but if you are trying to stay super traditional though, definitely go and find yourself some. Okay, so starting out with our base layer of umami, as with many dishes, I'm crushing and mincing some garlic, then peeling some ginger with the edge of a spoon and giving it a fine mince. For our broccoli, we're slicing these up into pretty thin spears here. Our goal is to get our broccoli into the general shape and size of gailan, which is long and thin. We're doing this so that when we introduce the broccoli to our wok heat, we'll be able to give it the same flash cook that you would do with gailan. You'll find that if your broccoli florets are too wide or too thick, then they can easily undercook. Next, I'm slicing up some Thai chilies here. I'm leaving the seeds in because I feel like the heat from a Thai chili is super critical for flavor here. But definitely de-seed these or leave them out entirely if you are averse to heat, because they're very spicy. Then I'm whisking up 3 eggs for our egg coating, and we're moving on to our noodles. Now, a quick side note about noodles here. I made this dish 4 separate times while working out this recipe, and the first 3 times my chow fun started to mold before I could get a chance to cook it up. This is partly because I just didn't get to it in time, but I think it's also worth mentioning that fresh chow fun starts to mold within 2 to 3 days. Not only that, but you really don't want to refrigerate this stuff either because it will harden up and turn stale in cold temperatures, which makes it even more perishable. I did, on 3 separate occasions, substitute my chow fun with plain old dry rice noodles, which works just fine, so if you are going for a pantry-safe recipe, definitely go this route. Moving on to our chicken, I'm going with chicken breast here in lieu of the more typical chicken thigh. Our sauce and our marinade have quite a bit of richness going on already, so I think the leaner chicken breast will cut back on the heaviness of the final dish. We're slicing this up into thin strips, then following it up with a pretty simple marinade of 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Shaoxing wine, a star anise pod, which I forgot to film somehow, a teaspoon of white pepper, and half a teaspoon of cornstarch. Then in a separate bowl for our sauce, I'm starting with a base layer of 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. Then for our really iconic Pad See Ew flavors, I'm using 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, which is going to be a little bit thicker and a little sweeter than our normal soy sauce. Next, I'm using 2 tablespoons of black vinegar, which is going to give us a bit of malted sweetness, followed by 4 tablespoons of fish sauce and 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce for some fermented sweetness. Then we're tying all of this together with 2 tablespoons of sambal olek, and we're ready to cook. Over on the stove, I have my wok ripping hot and adding 4 tablespoons of high heat oil. We're giving our oil a swirl for our long yao, then starting with our aromatic ingredients of garlic, ginger, and Thai chilies. We're giving this a toss until fragrant for about 10 seconds. Be sure to open up your windows if you're using Thai chilies, because those bad boys are gonna start smoking up real fast. Then I'm adding in my chicken. You'll notice that I'm being careful not to add our marinade into the wok with our chicken. This is going to help us reduce some of the moisture in our wok and contribute to our constant battle for high heat retention in wok cooking on a home burner. We're giving this a flash cook for about 2 minutes until browned and removing it from our wok. Then we're employing some batch cooking technique here by rinsing down our wok, giving it a wipe down, long yao one more time, and moving on to our broccoli. We're giving the broccoli a quick toss for about 1 to 2 minutes, then adding back our chicken, followed by our chow fun, sauce, and eggs. Then we're tossing everything one more time and giving our eggs a chance to set, and we're ready to eat. Now, the Neecha Thai version that I was referencing also uses thinly sliced carrots as well as shimiji mushrooms, which I left out mainly because I forgot, but also because I feel like the addition of extra veggies is more typical of a pad ki mao or drunken noodle, which I'll be getting to next. Both are really tasty additions though, so if you have some, definitely include it. Otherwise, this Pad See Ew is packed with flavor and richness and is honestly shockingly simple to make given how complex in flavor it is. I love the Americanized tendencies that it has, but at the same time, I also thought the addition of star anise and Thai chili helped keep us in the traditional flavor profile quite a bit. On another note, given that this was my 4th attempt at pad see ew, I also wanted to mention again that the use of chow fun here was a huge game changer, so if you do give this dish a shot, I really hope you can find some and get to cooking it before they start molding on you. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you found it informative or at the very least entertaining to watch. I'm having a lot of fun exploring some of the foods from the restaurants that I've been a regular at here in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you missed it, we also did the Westlake soup from the San Francisco Richmond District restaurant Dragon House earlier as well. If you live here in the Bay Area and have been to Neecha Thai, I would love to hear from you and take on any requests that anyone has as well. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and just generally be nice and stuff. Okay. I'll see you soon.